Hey, Mike Kennedy with you. Shrooms. Mind-bendingly good recipes for cultivated and wild mushrooms. Now first, they're borrowing these names because generally the word shroom is used for psychoactive mushrooms, and mind-bending also along that same thing. And there's actually none of that in this book. They're recipes. And they have general information too, like they've got a couple pages on drying and reconstituting mushrooms. They got this little silly thing where you answer some questions to find out what kind of mushroom you are. Here's some information on cleaning mushrooms. Chanterelles I just found today, only a couple, but here's a small chanterelle, and in my area they don't get much bigger than that. The ones I've seen them pick on alone in Alaska can be huge, but this is what we get. It's just talking about how to clean them, different things, and then if we actually we'll go to the index here, and we'll find the actual section on chanterelles. Sure we will. Seems to start at 106. And they start off with kind of a fact sheet about the chanterelles. They tell you what season they are, if you're buying them, tips on buying them, cleaning them, preserving them. Nerdy factors. Research is being done into insecticidal properties of chanterelle mushrooms, harmless to human. The characteristics may be why chanterelles, unlike so many other mushrooms, seem devoid of bug damage. Right? And that's actually true now that I'm thinking of it. I never picked one up that a bug had eaten. Chanterelles are rich in beta-carotene and notably high in vitamin D, A, and some B complexes. So mushrooms are 95% water too. And I actually did an experiment, maybe I could reference that below, where I dehydrated mushrooms and weighed them before and after. And it came out pretty close to that. There will be some variability because some mushrooms are more woody, and some mushrooms like that, the woody ones, would be more difficult to dry. You'd have to cut them in real thin strips if you were really doing it as an experiment to see how much water you could get out of it. But it seems to be a nice book. This is from our library. And what have they got? They've got a soup with chanterelle and garlic on toast, chanterelle risotto with lemon and thyme, quick pickled chanterelles with huckleberries and herbs, roasted chanterelles with bacon and sweet corn sauce. We got good pictures. Sauteed chanterelles with pears, crispy herb-infused duck breast. So that's it for the chanterelles. And of course, like me, you can just fry them up in some butter. You know, get them to the point where they've started to become soft. Crack an egg in there, mix it around, and eat them in scrambled eggs. I do that a lot. I want to actually taste the mushroom. Sometimes you put them in so many things, the flavoring can be lost. But then other times too, that combination, there can be a unique flavor that mushrooms bring to it. Black truffles are very interesting. Not truffles, sorry. Yeah, I think I find black truffles. Black trumpets are very unique in there. They're very thin mushrooms, and you can dry them very easily and powder them very easily with the mortar and pestle, right? Or you could just break them up with your hands. And I've used that in a base, like I make the pizza, and I sprinkle some of that on first before all the other ingredients go on. And that lends a unique taste to the pizza. I've really enjoyed that. One year there were a lot of black truffles, and so there was this one patch I found, and I think I went back 3 or 4 times and kept picking. I'd pick the big ones, then come back the next day, pick some more, and then couple days later, I picked some more as these were continuing to emerge. The chanterelles, not that this is a big find, but this area that I'm in rarely has them. They pop up every few years. So having, let's say I found 10 so far this year. That's quite a bit for that area. It's not quite as good as finding a whole patch where you would pick, 10 or 20 at one time. But it's interesting too about mushroom identification. This has got kind of a unique color, a bright color, right? And so, there's characteristics that kind of make it sort of easy to identify, but because it's color, there's this poisonous mushroom that has gills that doesn't grow, that grows, certain ways in clusters and everything. And people would get this poisonous mushroom that's completely different, confused with this one, end up eating some of those, and they're very poisonous. You don't want to do that. But there's so many differences between this and the jack-o'-lanterns. But the thing is, they're both bright colored, kind of in this direction. So you got to be really careful. But so there's the book review. It's by Becky Sullengut. I bet that isn't how you pronounce the name. And she's also the author of Good Fish, so she must be a cookbook author. With wit and whimsy, Becky cracks the code of every food lover's favorite fungi, telling us how to select, prep, clean, and store them, plus, of course, how to showcase them in recipes that will get stomachs rumbling. I thought I knew mushrooms, but after reading this book, my mind is spinning with delicious possibilities. Oh, and the book, $35 in the US. So it's really nice. Libraries, it's like, for some people, libraries are old-fashioned. And it's like, well, I can use the internet. Well, there's a lot of information that isn't on the internet that you're only going to find in books. And, here's a Dewey Decimal type thing. 641.5 SEL. So that's the location and the author's name, beginning of the author's name. But there's so much good information in books that isn't in the internet. And there's just a completely different field when you get a book versus, a page on your phone or tablet or something like that. Bye.